Hey, what's going on, sweaties all over the world? You already know who it is. It is your favorite internet sweaty, your boy Mikey Savage 21, bringing you something that I know you've been wanting for a long time, or at least two of you out of the 3,000 have been asking for this. A sweaty discussion. The sweaty discussion is back, and today we're going to be doing a discussion about the Halloween franchise, and myself and my special guest, we are going to be ranking the different Halloween films as well as giving our overall opinions and thoughts on the franchise as a whole. But as I mentioned, I have a guest with me. He is a hardcore Halloween fan. He's probably seen every single Halloween film multiple times, probably even owns most of the Blu-rays or DVDs or has pirated them, which I do not condone pirating, but it happens. My man Neospace, what's good, man? What's good?
All right, first off, so I don't pirate those movies. I don't pirate at all. That's illegal. Second, I do own all of them on Blu-ray. And third, yes, I have seen every single movie about 10 times over.
Oh man, it's too bad you don't pirate, because they're doing the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot and you could be Jack Sparrow.
Ha ha ha, that was so funny. I died of laughter. But what's up, world? It's Neospace. I'm super fucking excited for this.
Yes, you can tell that Neospace is very hyped up to do this. All right, so first of all, we're just going to give our overall opinion of what we think of the Halloween franchise as a whole, and then we'll get to our rankings, and then we'll just discuss from there. Now, so this video won't be too long. Once we get through discussing, giving our general thoughts, we'll go ahead and go all the way through our list, and then we'll just discuss from there about, our picks and everything.
And the ones that really make us go, what the fuck? Why did you put that there?
All right, so I want to start the discussion with the OG Halloween. Now,
the 1978 John Carpenter original.
Yes. The one that everyone I know has seen or has at least seen referenced in horror movies millions and millions of times. The movies that made babysitters think twice and look behind them whenever they're sitting on a couch. The original. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to censor that out because I don't want to get a copyright claim. All right.
I wasn't that good, man.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Them YouTube bots will pick up on anything. But yeah, we're talking Halloween. Now, when I first saw Halloween, obviously I wasn't alive in 78, but when I finally did get a chance to see the original Halloween, I wasn't frightened, but I was more so intrigued. I was like, this is actually pretty good. I said, you know what? This is a good little horror film. I like the characters. I hate to see them die, but at the same time, I'm kind of rooting for Michael, especially when I see them start fornicating. And I'm just like, why can't I fornicate? Kill them because I can't fornicate.
Dude, how old were you? I was like 10 when I first saw this movie.
Oh, I was watching those movies when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Okay, well,
and no,
we're gonna talk about how you knew about fornication way back when a little later on, but
I mean, I grew up in church. I mean, the preacher used to talk about it all the time.
This is a good point. Yeah, good point.
But I mean, I used to watch all kinds of horror movies growing up with my dad. And of course, I was joking with my mom earlier today. I told her that, I used to watch horror movies with my dad, but he's the one that would go to work and I had to be the one saying, Mama, I'm scared. I want to sleep in your room. I thought I saw Michael in my corner. But I can honestly say that none of the Halloween films ever hit me that hard where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. No, not Freddy, not Jason, not Michael, not Chucky did a little bit, but that's only because I had a buddy doll or whatever those Cabbage Patch dolls were called back in the day that weren't Cabbage Patch, but technically Cabbage Patch dolls. But Halloween to me,
the Lettuce Head Kids
is a movie that do what now?
I was gonna say the Lettuce Head Kids, the Garbage Pail
Yes,
Kids.
that's the one. But to me, the 1978's Halloween is the movie that really started up the whole slasher genre, because after that you had so many films come and try to replicate the success of what made Halloween so interesting, and you can argue that we got a lot of really good movies after 1978. I think the most infamous one that a lot of people will probably reference is Nightmare on Elm Street. because this came like right around afterwards. And so Nightmare on Elm Street took that same concept of you have someone who's somewhat faceless going around killing people and stalking people, except this time, Michael does it in a physical sense and Freddy does it in more of a spiritual or dream sense and can become physical, as we saw towards the end of the film. But one of the things that always intrigued me about Michael was we never really got to see his face, except for in a few instances where we like see him as a little kid, or we had that random cameo with the model who apparently was not in the movie but just was in the movie for that one scene when his mask got ripped off by Laurie Strode, which is so funny. I could imagine his agent was probably like, hey, you're a good looking dude, hey, you want to be in a horror movie? Oh, what do you mean? What would I have to do? Oh, we're gonna put a mask over your face. But you said I was handsome.
I'm thinking about it, of when they do rip the mask off the few times in the series. It does kind of just pull me out of the movie right then and there, because it's just like, man,
yeah,
the era of mystery is gone.
Yeah, because at that point it's just a man.
He's just a guy that can't be killed by any fucking means whatsoever.
And nobody really wants to see a man. They really just more so just want to see the shape of a man, which goes into turn why he was never actually credited as Michael Myers. He was always accredited in the earlier films as the shape, because he didn't have a name, or he had a name, but he, was this shape that walked among the earth, and he was this unstoppable killing force, similar to what you have like with Jason, but a little bit more nuanced. And so then, of course, like I said, Halloween.
We do not speak of Friday the 13th.
True.
We do not speak of Friday the 13th, because after Friday the 13th Part 3, it just gets ridiculous. But then again, I also got to remember what movie series we're talking about here.
Yes, because again, a lot of the sequels get a little wackadoo after a while. Now, one of the things that also I found interesting with the 1978 version is why Michael did what he did. We never got an understanding of why he did what he did. And so for the longest time, I was kind of bothered by that. Like, I kind of want to know what makes Michael tick, but then after going back and rewatching the film and then rewatching it recently when the 2018 movie came out, I started to get appreciation for I don't want to know, because there's something scary about not knowing. The unknown, as people would call it, the unknown is what's scary to us, because if you tell us outright, okay, that takes a little bit of the air of mystery away, like Neospace was talking about, when like we're taking the mask off, as opposed to if we don't know certain things, it leaves us to fill in the blanks and come up with our own head canon. Now, of course, the downside to that is we start transfixing on what we think Michael should be like, or what we think the movie should in turn be like, and then when the movie doesn't turn out like what we think, we end up hating it. Sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for just petty fan reasons. I mean, again, that's what movie fandom is. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what makes movies so great, is the fact that it might hit one person one way and hit another person another way. Like, there are some people who don't like Halloween. They prefer Friday the 13th. There are some people who don't like Halloween or Friday the 13th.
We call those people normie whack jobs.
Hey, I mean, like I said, Halloween hits everybody in different ways. I mean, I guess it also depends on what you're looking for in a horror movie. Are you looking for like...
And not a lot of people like slashers or horror in general, so... Yeah.
I would say back in, the late 70s, early 80s, that's when the slasher genre really took off and people really started getting more invested into these movies. You had films like before, Halloween's film that were considered slashers, but not to the degree of, like the 80s. And then, of course, what we think of slashers now, we really don't have that many. We have more homages to slashers, but it's just more so just like straight up, murders and everything. Not really a slasher. You don't see teens getting cut up in a typical fashion. And that's the one thing I'll also say about Halloween, before we start getting into our list and everything, is Halloween, while it took a basic premise, guy escapes from mental facility, decides to go out Halloween night, dons a mask that he finds and decides to kill. Doesn't sound like that it could be really that nuanced. But the way that John Carpenter shot it, the way he scored it, the way that he made Michael move and articulate in certain ways made it interesting. And the way he wrote the characters, because that's the major selling point. Like you'll see with some of these films later on when they start making sequels, if you don't have good characters, that's going to really hurt and take away from the movie. Because again, we're there for Michael, but we're also there in a sense for a good story, and we're there for characters. And if you don't have good characters, well, then your movie is going to suffer from it. Very much so. I mean, just to name a few, I mean, look at The Curse of Michael Myers. I hated all the characters, and the only reason I like Paul Rudd is just because it's Paul Rudd. But if it wasn't for Paul Rudd, I wouldn't have cared for the movie. And of course, the late great Donald Pleasance as well. But other than that, I cared nothing for any of those characters, none whatsoever. I can barely even remember some of their names. However, you can remember the names from the first one because they took the time to actually flesh these characters out and give them backstory, give them motivation, see them interacting. And not only that, they looked like teenagers and felt and spoke like teenagers, not like adults pretending to be what teenagers speak like, which you get in a lot of horror movies now.
I would just like to point out while we were talking about Curse, fuck Curse.
Oh, yes. I
hate that movie.
I'm sure that's going to be probably on the bottom of everybody's list.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, how about we move on to Halloween 2, the original sequel that spawned the whole shit show that is this timeline.
All right. Yeah, we'll go on to Halloween 2, and then we'll jump straight into our list after that. So it was inevitable that a sequel would come out, obviously, because, I mean, the movie did so well and it got so popular within the zeitgeist of Hollywood. It was breaking all kinds of records, but it was a slow burn. It didn't hit right away. It took a little bit of time. Then movies stayed in theaters a lot longer and had more of a time to be in the theater before they had to, worry about getting to the shelf life and everything. And once this movie started to catch on with audiences and critics, the movie just blew up. And so, of course, it was inevitable that they were going to get a sequel. Now, it's notorious. Everyone knows that Carpenter really didn't want to do a sequel because he's not really known for doing sequels to his films. He's more of a one and done type of person, kind of like Joaquin Phoenix. He doesn't like sequels. He's more of I like to do one movie and I like to do it really well, and then that's it. I'm done. But Carpenter, inevitably, again, money talks. So he got together with his partner and they wrote up a treatment for what we now know as Halloween 2. And while I feel like Halloween 2 wasn't as great as the original, which it's hard to do, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the more gore kills that they had in this one. I enjoyed the way that Michael felt more unstoppable in this movie, because in the first one he just felt more so like a guy who's just very creepy, stalks his prey.
Let's just put it this way. He lived through getting shot in the chest 6 times. Came back in this movie and still fucked with everyone.
I mean, you can have rappers that can say the same thing.
Okay, we're not talking about 50 Cent right now.
I'm not even talking about 50 Cent. I mean, you could talk about like a whole bunch of rappers that have gotten shot up, but still, at the time, it wasn't common for someone to get shot in the chest point blank 6 times, fall off a 2-story balcony, and then get up and still be able to function and move around. And what I like about it,
and get away. No.
Right. And then on top of that, with Halloween 2, we still never got an explanation about how he was able to do that, or does he bleed or does he hurt? Now, obviously, we did see him bleed because of, the ending and everything where he got his eyes, cut out. And so at that point, you saw the blood dripping down from his mask. That was the only time we had ever seen blood come from Michael, because you could argue that the first film, he never took any damage. And when he did, we never saw any kind of blood or anything. So you still had that air of mystery around Michael. And then, of course, once you get to the later sequels, they ruined that mystery, unfortunately, and it ruined it in a very horribly done way. But did you have anything else you wanted to say about Halloween 2 Neo Space before we do our list?
What I can say is Halloween 2, up until they started coming out with the new sequel, was probably my favorite Halloween sequel. just because that was the start of the end of the good Halloween parts. The rest just turned into a total shit show. That was probably the last good one I enjoyed for a while as I was watching the series, because the rest I just went in like, what the fuck are they doing?
Well, you can argue there were a couple of hidden gems mixed in the 11 films that were, brought to attention, which, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to go ahead and say this up front. Season of the Witch will not be discussed in this discussion, because
that movie.
Don't get me wrong, I love the movie. I think it's a really good movie, but it's a bad Halloween movie. I get that they wanted to do an anthology thing with it, and maybe if they would have went about it a different way, it would have worked. But because of the ending of Halloween 2, and people were left wanting to know what happened to Michael, then you titled this Halloween 3. Rightfully so, people got upset. But overall, if you take it as a standalone movie, it's a creepy Halloween movie. A movie that I do enjoy watching during the Halloween season, but it will not be on this list. It will not be on this list.
I get the anthology thing. I respect it as its own standalone movie, but as far as in the actual Halloween timeline, that movie. Everything about that movie.
All right. Well, with that being said, all right, Neospace, we're going to start with you, man. All right. So like I said, rapid fire, going to go from your worst film to your best film, and then I'll list off my worst film to my best film, and then we'll just kind of discuss from there.
All right. So since we've got 11 movies to go over, I'm going to rapid fire it off, but there are going to be some points you're probably going to interrupt me and be like, whoa, why is this here? So there will be some explainers.
Wait, you said 11. I thought it was 10. Did I miss one?
Wait a minute, let's see.
Because I took out Halloween 3, so it should only be 10, I think.
Yeah, it is 10. Honorable mention to Season of the Witch, my least favorite Halloween movie, but still a good movie.
Okay. I was about to say, I know how to count. I definitely know how to count, or at least I thought I did.
All right, so this is where Mike hits me with the, okay, I understand that. So at number 10 on my list is the Rob Zombie Halloween 2, because, yeah, we don't talk about the White Horse.
Interesting.
Number 9 on my list, Halloween Resurrection, because of Busta Rhymes doing fucking kung fu fighting Michael Myers. And I'm sorry, that is some of the worst fucking dialogue I've ever heard in my life. You're charging at Michael fucking Myers with a chainsaw while the room is on fire. And you deliver it like you have no emotion and like you're a dummy. What the hell?
That's one of those movies I question why it even got made.
Alright, I was at number 8, right? I'm sorry, I got thinking about that shit show.
Yes, you were at 8.
Alright, so number 8, believe it or not, this is actually going to surprise you. The Curse of Michael Myers.
I'm just shocked it's not lower.
Oh, are we going best to worst or worst to best?
Worst to best.
Okay, yeah, no, it's number 8. Because Curse made no fucking sense.
Agreed.
They were trying to clean up a bunch of plot points, and they tried to condense it into this low-budget ass, poor excuse of a movie that just made no fucking sense in the end. The Gaelic runes were completely unneeded. It was... what the hell were they thinking? Alright, and number 7 is going to be Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, because it made us have to deal with all that Thorn and Man in Black bullshit. Number 6 is going to be Halloween, the Rob Zombie first one. Because I did not want to see the drunken lives and times of Michael fucking Myers. Give me the same story over again. You ruined it completely. And you ruined one of the Spy Kids, man. Come on, Rob Zombie. Still pissed. That was my favorite ginger.
I mean, hey, if you ever wanted to know the backstory of Michael, you got it. And boy, it's dark. You kind of see why he went down the path he did.
Yeah, and it definitely makes more sense than some cultistic bullshit. Alright, so I was at number 5, right?
You were actually at 6. But now you're at 5.
Alright. So number 5 goes out to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. because that was the one that came after Season of the Witch, and it really brought back what the people wanted, which was crazy mass serial killer Michael fucking Myers.
Okay.
Number 4 goes to H2O. And that one is, I know, probably sparking in your mind, like, why is he putting H2O at number 4 instead of way higher on the list? And I'll be real, the twist ending did piss me off, where Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, winds up decapitating a paramedic instead of Michael. Because honestly, that would have been a good ending to the story right then and there.
I agree. I also think it would have been a good ending, but there and again,
sequel.
Money talks, and so yeah, you got to make an inevitable sequel because this one made money.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, it was great seeing the OG Scream Queen back, but I also feel like they completely wasted Laurie again, because in Resurrection, in the first scene, they offer. So, yeah, that's why it's at number 4.
Alright.
Just because of that ending, but the rest of it is great. Number 3 is going out to Halloween 2. Not the 2018 Halloween 2. That's technically called Halloween, but the original Halloween 2.
Okay.
That one, I think, no needs to explain why it gets the bronze medal. It is a great movie, but it's not the best one.
Agreed.
Number 2, Halloween 2018. Because it is an outstanding movie, but as you've probably already figured out from my list, you know where my heart lies with number 1.
Of course.
Because nothing, not even an amazing movie like the 2018 sequel, where Jamie Lee Curtis is a total badass, can compete with the original. Because it started what is basically the whole fucking slasher genre, and just started all of this, all 10 of these great Michael Myers movies, and that one Season of the Witch we don't talk about. So, number 1 goes out to John Carpenter's original, one of the grandfathers of horror, right up there with Wes freaking Craven. And that is my list. Now, Mike, surprise me.
Alright, rapid firing through my list. Number 10, I have The Curse of Michael Myers, the 1995 movie.
I agree with you.
Number 9, I have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
I also agree with you.
Number 8, I have Halloween Resurrection.
Could not agree more.
Number 7, I have the Halloween 2, the remake from 2009, or the sequel to the remake from 2007, I should say. That came out in 2009. Yes.
The Rob Zombie piece of trash?
Yes.
All right, we can agree on that. We're gonna have a talk later about why that's so low on the list, but okay.
All right, number 6, I have the Halloween remake from 2007 by said Rob Zombie.
I can respect that choice. You know, the redneck hillbilly backstory.
Right. Number 5, which is going to surprise a lot of people, I have Halloween H2O.
At number 5?
At number 5.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it, but give me your reasoning. We know for me it was the ending.
Well, to me, it's something that you spoke on. I felt like they wasted Laurie's character. There could have been a little bit more potential with her, especially compared to what we saw in 2018, about somebody who was a victim of what happened and what that does to her family. I didn't too much care for the son. I didn't care for any of his friends. So when they started to die, I was just like, okay,
they're dying.
Hello.
These are our stupid teenagers.
Right. It's like, oh, we got to have our teenagers. The whole, and then the thing with LL Cool J was kind of weird. The whole, I'm a security guard, but I want to write romance novels or sex novels. I'm like, I didn't need
that's weird. We didn't need this weird side plot.
Yeah, I didn't need that. Now I will say, to me, H2O does have one of the better openings that I've seen in a very long time compared to the other Halloween movies that came below this, because that opening, oh gosh, it hooks you.
Oh yeah.
Because when you're like, oh, Michael's back, all right, and he's taking care of everything that he has left behind. Now, of course, you have the same thing of him escaping and everything. That's fine. It's a retread of what, he did in the first one. I get that. But at least they kind of made sense of it.
Murders the mechanic, blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, the way, he killed Jason Gordon-Levitt's character, with the skate to the face, that's something that I never had seen. This is where I think Michael started getting a little bit more tactical and creative with his kills. I mean, before that, he was using interesting things, but I've never seen someone get murdered with a skate to the face before. That was pretty interesting.
That was kind of cool. I can't disagree. That was fucking cool. All right, so
for number 4, I have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Okay, so why? Yeah, I get it. No, can't even fight you on that one.
All
Good
right,
choice.
number 3, I have Halloween 2, the 1981 film.
Both equally placed it on the bronze.
Right. Of course, number 2 goes to Halloween, the 2018 film. Or sequel, I should say, to the original Halloween film. And then, of course, Halloween is up at the tippy top, like you mentioned before. A lot of these movies were great, especially when you get to the higher tier list, but none of them kind of came to capturing the original complete feel of what the first film did. Now, 2018 came very close. I'm not going to lie. It came very close to beating out the 1978 version because it was a perfect homage and sequel to the 78 version.
We all know who takes the gold home. It's always going to be Carpenter.
Of course. And then, of course, like I said, maybe that's one of the reasons why this one was so great. Not only did you have Laurie Strode back, but you had John Carpenter back in this one, and he was doing the score with his son. So you had that same kind of feel and tone. Plus, you have Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, who truly understand what Michael is and who Michael is. Michael is not a person. He is a shape. He is a thing that moves around. He has no rhyme or reason to what he does. They understood that way better than any of the other directors that have done these Halloween movies throughout the years. So that is why I think that 2018 is very close. If I could have cheated, I would have had them neck and neck. But, Halloween to me will always still be at the tippy top. But all right, Neil Space, did you have any on my list that you kind of disagree with or kind of scratching your head at?
Not entirely. The one that does get me... What was your number 6 again? Refresh me.
My number 6 was the Halloween remake.
I mean, I want to complain about it being at number 6, but I feel like it's a damn good spot for it.
The reason I have it that high up on the list above,
because the first remake was good. It was just the sequel Zombie put out that was the shit tier. This
goes back to what I spoke about earlier about wanting to know certain things about what made Michael do what he did. Now, I don't think every serial killer or in these slasher films we need to know, oh, this person got bullied when they were little, or this person's mom died, and this is... Not everybody needs that treatment, but because of what all the crap show Halloween films we have seen that have tried to tell us Michael's backstory and had failed at it, it was good to see someone make a good attempt at that, and it felt more grounded and felt more grounded and real, especially a lot more so than a lot of the later sequels. It felt like something that you've seen, but I will admit that, it basically was kind of trailer trash. In a sense, it made Michael seem like he was more, born poor, trailer trash. You got this mom who's stripping for money and got an abusive stepdad who's like a real hard case to everybody. Then got a slut for a sister. No offense to her, but that's just the way that they wrote her character. So...
Judith Myers was a hoe. We all know it.
See, we don't know that. I mean, yes, in the first film, we saw her go up the stairs with her boyfriend. They presumably had sex, and that was it. We don't know the context of how long they had been together in that relationship. We don't know if they were engaged or anything. We just know that they had sex. Michael killed her, and some would argue maybe he had some kind of repressed sexual tension toward his sister, and when he sees another man is doing it to her, he gets a little mad and wants to stab her. Maybe that's his form of sex or something. I don't know. But at least this movie
I think you're thinking psychologically into this.
And as you could if you wanted to get, a little more psychological with it and everything. But no, I think, to me, Rob Zombie's remake, it was great. It wasn't as great as, like I said, the ones that are above it, but it was way better than Curse of Michael Myers. At least I could follow the story. There was no convoluted theatrical cut, director's cut. I mean, there was, but at least it wasn't too bad. Like, from what I understand, there is a director's cut and there's a theatrical cut for both of his films, but they're a little bit more cohesive for both the remake and the sequel. They're a little bit more cohesive as opposed to Curse of Michael Myers, where depending on which one
Well, I do own both, and I can say zombie scenes that he adds in on the director's cut makes more sense to the story, but it doesn't change the story
as
entirely.
opposed to, like, with Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, depending on which one you watch determines the outcome of how the movie ends.
If I'm right, isn't it one, like, Loomis dies killing Michael or some shit? No, it wasn't that. It was Tommy or some shit dies or...
Well, no, Tommy doesn't die.
It's been a long time since I've seen that god-awful movie.
In both versions, Paul Rudd and the group of kids all get away, but the outcome of Loomis's fate is determined upon which one you watch. I can't remember the specific cuts, but there's one cut where Loomis does survive, and he sees that Michael has escaped somehow. He's killed the doctor or killed the man in black, and he has escaped, and he's disguised as the man in black and walks away, and all of a sudden the doctor pops back alive and grabs Loomis's wrist and passes the curse of thorn onto him. So now he's forever tied intrinsically to Michael Myers and has to be his quote unquote caretaker. That's one ending. Then you have the other ending where it's more ambiguous, where Michael still gets he gets defeated outright, gets his head bashed in by Paul Rudd with a pipe real bad, to the point where I think his head falls off and his head is, gushing out green blood, which, okay, then I guess we're at that point, we're going with Michael's an alien, so his blood is green. And then, of course, they escape, and we see Dr. Loomis, and we just hear him kind of yell or something, and then that's it. The movie cuts off. So it's a little ambiguous as to if Michael is dead or not, or if they pulled an H2O, as opposed to the original version. Michael is clearly alive, and Loomis is clearly alive, and now is forever forced to take care of Michael. So you see, depending on which version you watch, it changes the whole meaning of the movie. Halloween 5, awful movie. Not as awful, in my opinion, as Curse of Michael Myers. There were a couple of scenes that I did like, and a couple of creative kills, like the way he killed the boyfriend because he was obsessed with his car, and then he scratches the car up and then kills him with the car, and the way his body's in the background twitching and stuff. I like that. I think that was a pretty cool kill. And then, of course, him dressing up and taking the guy's costume and, simply using that as a way to lure Tina into his car and everything. That was creepy as mess. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, when I watched that, I was like, oh my gosh, she does not know, and she's not picking up on the vibe that this is Michael. That's not her boyfriend. So
she gonna die. Exactly what I was saying. That whole scene. She gonna die. She gonna die. She gonna die.
But other than that, and a few other little standout scenes, everything else was awful. The way they had Jamie be a mute in the movie was stupid. The way they killed Rachel off in the beginning was stupid. The way that they had Tina take the lead. Tina was an awful written character. I'm sorry. I hated Tina. And when she died, I felt no sympathy for her.
Worst female protagonist
I felt
ever.
No sympathy for her. Loomis, they had him screaming. This is the one where we get the iconic Loomis grabbing children and screaming in their face. You tell me. Just like, Loomis, calm down. It ain't that serious. Put the child down. So, wasn't the finest moment for, Donald Pleasance's character either. And then, of course, we got that stupid Thorn stuff. And then, of course, we also got the whole... I'm Michael, and I survived all of this cannon fire, and this random hobo decides to take care of me for an entire year. And on Halloween, I've decided, all right, I'm going to kill this guy that apparently has taken care of me all this time. Now, depending on if you watch another cut of the film, it's shown that he's actually a part of the cult and everything, and so he's just, and that's why he gets killed. He's a part of the cult, and it's something that has to happen. But once again, all of that aside, awful. Halloween Resurrection, you said it best. Busta Rhymes kung fuing Michael was stupid. Now, the whole concept of them going into the old Myers house and with cameras and stuff, great in theory. But you packed the movie with stupid characters I didn't care for. Awful characters. These characters weren't as awful as Halloween 5's characters. They were still pretty bad. And then, like I said,
they were. Yeah, we don't talk about Curse.
And we don't talk about Resurrection. And
we really don't talk about Busta Rhymes doing Kung Fu.
And then, of course, the remake sequel, I hate it. But I don't, in terms of a pure filmmaking, it's still more put together than Resurrection 5 or Curse of Michael Myers. At least it has a definitive beginning and end. Again, there are director's cuts and theatrical cuts, but the story doesn't change up too much, depending on which one you watch. It doesn't change up too much.
I will say there's one thing about Resurrection I really got to throw in there. So besides the terrible line delivery, the horrible actors, and Busta Rhymes doing Kung Fu, they tried way too hard to make the teenagers hateable. Way too hard.
Very true. Plus the fact that people thought that this was all staged and they didn't catch on right away when the first person got murdered makes me question, were teenagers back then that stupid in the early 2000s? Because I was alive, but I wasn't a teenager at that point. I think if I see someone getting murdered, I'm going to be like, yeah, this ain't a part of the show.
Okay, no, we need to call this in now.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the stupidest scenes besides that Kung Fu one was the one where Busta Rhymes was dressed as Michael Myers and yelling at Michael Myers. Why did he not stab him in his face with that mask on? He listened to him. He's like, all right, I'm going to go this way and I'm going to kill some folks. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you wanted to be Michael. I'm Michael, but clearly you want to be me. So, all right, maybe he thought in his mind, okay, this guy is a killer like me and he's going to help me kill these teenagers. I don't know. It's just stupid. It gives me a headache just thinking about that scene.
It is completely out of character. It's terrible screenwriting. It's just so bad.
And in terms of
but we could talk about Resurrection all damn night.
Now I know a lot of people are wondering, why did I put Halloween 4 above H2O? Now, like I had mentioned earlier when talking with Neospace, defending at why I have it at number 5. H2O to me was a good movie, but a wasted opportunity. It had a lot of potential in it, but there was a lot of things wasted. As opposed to 4, it was a little different. Now, 4 had some pretty cool characters. I can remember basically all of the characters' names. I understand the relationships that they have. I can understand Michael and where he's coming from. I don't like the mask that he's wearing, and I think it looks very childish, but the fact that he gets it out of a kid's store, okay, that makes sense. They don't really explain why he's going after Jamie, other than I guess he just wants to kill the daughter of the one that got away. And I also don't like how they kind of killed Lori off screen, saying she died in a car wreck. But in some weird universe, some people say that 4 actually works in terms of Halloween H2O, because you could say that she faked her death. She did have a daughter, but she faked her death and let her daughter go, be adopted. And then that's when she went off to do the whole boarding school thing and then ended up having a son. So some people say that 4 actually kind of works, but 5 and 6 definitely don't work in the continuity of terms of H2O. And because of 4's ending, okay, you could argue that, yeah, it might lead into H2O, or it could fit. And then, of course, the ending. This is what Halloween 4 is known for. It's known for the ending. Well, it's known for 3 things, I would say. 1, it's known through the shotgun, the way that Michael used a shotgun. Rather than Michael shoot the shotgun, he decides he's going to impale you with the shotgun through a wall. I
guess he just gets off to stabbing people, like you said.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess the phallic touch of stabbing somebody. Because, I mean, you got the shotgun, shoot him. It's going to...
I'm guaranteeing you there was one incredibly stoned screenwriter in there that was like, you know what? Most people would expect him to just shoot with the gun. Let's just have him impale this guy. What? Dude, trust me. Trust me, it'll completely throw them off. We got this. Have him impale the guy with the shotgun.
Yeah, when she got impaled I knew she was going to die, because obviously she's made out to be the slut of the movie, and everyone knows that the slut has to die. So, you know, the way the setup and the build up to it was also great too. I mean, you have Michael, he's sat here and he's killed this cop, he's replaced himself, he's sitting here in the chair and everything, rocking with the shotgun. You still think it's the dude. And then all of a sudden, she goes over to light the candle and you see, oh my gosh, he's dead. And then boom, Michael pops up and impales her with the shotgun. Awesome kill. Second thing people remember this movie for, of course, this is the first time we actually got to see like nudity. Now, it's not the first time, because they had nudity in Halloween 2.
In the original.
A little bit, not much. It was more tasteful nudity. It wasn't.
Yeah, you still got to see the boobs,
it wasn't prominent, as opposed to this. You see, it's a full-on sex scene, and we get to see boobs and everything. That's one of the scenes I think a lot of people think about, because it's a romantic setting. You got the dark mood lighting. You have somebody right next to a fireplace and everything. That screams romantic. So a lot of people remember that scene, and of course the ending scene, the whole bait and switch where Jamie all of a sudden has now inherited Michael's spirit, or his spirit is now taken over this little girl's body. Taking over this little girl's body, signifying that this force, that this shape, it's always going to exist, whether it's inside of Michael, whether it's inside of Jamie. This force is always going to exist in somebody. And so you could argue at that point, okay, maybe it's a blood thing at that point. Everybody that's a part of the Myers family is cursed, and they're either cursed to die by Michael's hand, or they're cursed to become Michael, or become the shape. So, to me...
And then they just completely screwed it in the next few movies.
Exactly, with making Jamie mute and everything, and basically retconning her killing her mother by saying, oh, she stabbed her mother, but she didn't die. She stabbed her like 8-9 times with those scissors. I'm sorry, Mr. French man who directed Halloween 5. There's no way someone's surviving being stabbed that deep 5 times or more with scissors. I'm sorry. You can get out of here with that. That's a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS.
And in the 1990s, like, technology was not that good yet.
Exactly. It was not that good. So that was stupid on your part. And then, of course, you know, Halloween 2 speaks for itself. 2018 speaks for itself. And, of course, the original speaks for itself. So, overall, I would say that the Halloween franchise has seen a lot of great movies, but seen a lot of awful movies. And I think now with the success of the 2018 film, both critically, with fans, and financially, I think we can honestly say that the Michael Assance is back. And I'm hoping that Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are both great sequels in their own right, and still manage to capture the same feel that the 2018 film did. So I'm looking forward to the future, and like I said, you never know what this is going to lead to. Some filmmakers might want to come back and actually do something with some of these other killers. Like, again, I still say we might get a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street eventually. We eventually, once
one that isn't
might
terrible,
eventually get a Friday the 13th remake once all this stupid stuff in court is settled and everything. So you never know, the possibilities are endless. But Neospace, do you have anything else you want to say before we conclude, man?
Yes, I do. The Curse of Thorn, Busta Rhymes doing Kung Fu, and the amount of censors you're going to place on me in this video. That is all.
I love that. I love SpongeBob Sailor Mouth, because that's where a lot of these sound effects that are getting used came from.
You think I didn't catch that?
But all right, guys, Thank you so much for tuning into this video and joining us as we sweated it out and talked about Halloween. Hope you guys enjoyed this special Halloween discussion. This should be going up on Halloween Day, I believe around 6 p.m. or so. So grab yourself some snacks, tune in and rewatch, because again, this is something that you could probably come back to every year, which you never know. We might come back again next year on Halloween and do something else. We might have another discussion. This time, instead of ranking the films, we might actually get into the whole psychology of Michael Myers and what makes him a killer, and you know, does he get off sexually on killing people, or is it just that he has this unstoppable force inside of him that's telling him in his head, hey, if you kill this person, I'll leave you alone. Nah, I changed my mind. Kill these two people and then I'll leave you alone. Maybe we'll do another discussion like that someday.
I got this theory that he's just a straight up fucking nut job. An immortal cycle nut job, but I mean, it makes sense. But we'll get into that another time.
But alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video once again. Neospace. Oh my gosh, I can't talk anymore.
I was about to say, who the fuck is Neospace?
Neospace. Tell the people where they can find you on all the social media platforms, man.
You can find me on Instagram at neospace_Claudian. I currently have a YouTube channel in the works. It's still terrible. I've been trying to get it in the works for a year, but I'm very, very good at procrastinating. Yeah, that's about it.
Alright guys, of course you already know, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please make sure you subscribe, tap the bell so you'll be notified every time a video drops. I'm sure I'll do more film videos like this besides on just like Halloween. Yeah, I'll do something. Of course, make sure.
I got the feeling we need to make this like a horror, like a whole series of discussion videos of just horror. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Just a suggestion. Leave comments.
I was just about to say, you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure you comment down below. Of course, smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down button. And then, of course, you can go and follow me on all the social media platforms at officialms21. With that being said, this is your boy Mikey Savage 21 signing out. Later, savages.
Peace.
Mic check. This is just to get a test one last time, but I'm actually recording this, so let's see. Yes, it is working perfectly. Let me pull up my notes.
Yeet cannon mic check. This is a yeet cannon mic check.
No, I'm professional. I will not laugh on camera.
Oh, come on. Crack up a little bit.
No, I refuse.
Hang on. That's why you bring me and Don on the channel, okay?
No, I know how to loosen up, but... wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing an intro. I might keep this in. I haven't decided yet.
You have to do it.